Hi, I'm Shannon and this is my daughter Faith. What brought us to Hope Cottage? Well, it's really a few different things. My parents always wanted to adopt, and after they had me, they stopped, so I guess they said that was enough. It was my brother and I. So adoption has always been something I wanted to do. I thought I would get married, have kids, and then also adopt as well, but that wasn't the case. I ended up not being able to have children biologically, so I always knew in my heart that I wanted to be a mom, and that adoption was just the way that God designed for it to happen for me. I've known about Hope Cottage probably for the last 15 or 18 years. I was a former board member, so that's how I first learned about Hope Cottage, was when I was going through a leadership development program at the United Way. And Hope Cottage was just a fabulous agency. Yeah. Faith is 13 months, by the way. So I kept still waiting to get married. My parents were married 44 years before my dad passed away, and so I thought, well, I wanted to do it quote unquote the traditional way. But in January 2010, I just really felt in my heart that the Lord was saying now was the time. So I take it back, I didn't contact Hope Cottage then. I was still saying, I'll wait. But in June of 2010, I contacted Hope Cottage. Ironically, I called the agency like on a Tuesday or Wednesday. Saturday, that same Saturday, they were having an adoption education seminar. So that was my first introduction, and knew at that point in time that's what I wanted to do. July 4th, I had my profile in to the agency. And the hardest thing about it was not knowing. When you're pregnant, in 9 months it's going to happen. At that point, they had several little ones that were to be born within the next couple of months. But so many of those prospective families wanted two-parent households, which in my heart I could understand because I wanted that same thing, but it was just me. I have a wonderful support system, but I was adopting as a single parent. Yay! So I would say that was probably the hardest thing, was not knowing as a single parent how long it was going to take. I was placed with a young birth mom in September 10, but that one didn't work out. And so it's one of those gut-wrenching, heart-wrenching decisions where you knew it was the right thing for that birth mom, but so much wanting to be a mom. And I would say that was the toughest time, between Labor Day weekend when that little boy was born, but he wasn't the one to be for me until this precious little girl came. Because at that point, all of the families that were considering adoption all chose two-parent households, and so it was so, I think that was the frustrating thing. And so that was the hardest part, was the waiting period, not knowing how long it was going to take, and understanding birth families' decisions for wanting two-parent households, but just wanting my opportunity also. And so my daughter was a hospital referral. I was jumping rope. Yes, I was jumping rope on October 27th, and I got a call about 6 o'clock from Hope Cottage, and I was thinking, I know I don't owe them money, so I'm not real sure why they're calling me. And that's when they let me know that my daughter had been born on October 25th, and that the birth family had decided that they loved her very much, but they just weren't in a position, God bless you, baby, to raise her. And so I said, okay, and I know Hope Cottage has a program where when little ones are born and sometimes everything hasn't been worked out, they go into, I think it's temporary loving care or some type of arrangement like that. So I figured, okay, well, meet and discuss it with the birth mom, and maybe in the next 6 weeks or so, she and I will be united. But the birth mom was very adamant that she wanted the baby to go home with her forever family the next day. So 6 p.m. on a Tuesday, I found out that she was born, and on 2 o'clock on Wednesday, we were united. My daughter's name is Faye. Thankfully, sometimes the birth family will name the child, and then you can either choose to keep that name, or if a family wants to change it. The birth mom was so gracious. She was just I cannot speak more highly of her. She said, I only want her to go through life with one name. And she said, you're her mama, and so you deserve that right to name her. And so I always knew in my heart, my faith is very important to me. And so my daughter is named after the scripture, Hebrews 11:1, where it talks about faith is the substance of things hoped for, and until she came, evidence of things not seen. And so forever she is just my reminder just to the goodness of God and always have faith in your dreams. Her middle name is Althea, and that's my mom's first name. And she's named that because I just want her to know that she is a part of our legacy and our heritage. We have a semi-open adoption. The birth mother, again, I just can't speak enough of her. I mean, just a phenomenal young woman, 22 years old, young woman, but just so much wisdom. And she left it up to me. She said, I would love to have interaction with her, but that's up to you. You're her mom. You know what's best for her. So we got together at 6 months. I called Hope Cottage and said, I just think she would enjoy seeing her. And so we got together and we decided that we're going to do it about once a year. Hope Cottage has 2 sponsored events, and so I think I'm going to invite her to that event in the spring and see if she would like to do it there, or if she wants to just do it, she and I. And so that's what we're thinking about once a year, because Faith will always know that she's adopted. And if I could give any advice to adoptive parents, I would say just consider the possibility of openness. Some families get together every other weekend, and that's fabulous. Some families have a closed adoption. I just think that I just appreciate Faith's birth mother so much. I mean, she truly gave her the greatest gift, which was choosing to bring her into this world when, there are other options available, and I don't penalize any person for the options that they choose, but had she not made the courageous and loving and selfless sacrifice to bring her into this world, then I would not have this beautiful opportunity to raise this child. And so I'm hopeful that one day that Faith will want to get to know her birth mother. That's absolutely fine with me. We don't have any contact with the birth father's family, but we do have contact with the birth mother and her mother, because it was the birth mother and her mother, and then my mom and I were the 2 that were there when Faith was placed. So we talk about an adoption triad, and it is, but ours is more like an adoption quad, because we keep both of the grandmothers involved in the mix as well. Folks often ask me, what's the hardest thing about being a single mom? And I would just say, it's just the time element, the same crunch time that we're all looking for, but I always say it's overwhelmingly wonderful. There are those, I remember there was one day when Faith was sick and she was fussy and I was sick and I was fussy, and we both just sat down and had a good cry, and then before I knew it, must have been no more than a minute or 2, she started laughing. Hey Pooh, watch out, you're gonna hurt your head. She started laughing, I started laughing, and then we were good again. So it's the time element, but for any single man or woman who's considering it, do it. It is the greatest gift of your life. You will find that you have more energy to do things than you ever thought possible. Absolutely. She's going to start gymnastics in the summer, because we have one that definitely, I know it, that wants to tumble. Hi. Yes, I know it. Okay. You want to play with your shoe? This child is fascinated with Velcro. Fascinated with Velcro. And so that is our adoption story. So if you are considering adoption, I'm not even going to say consider Hope Cottage. I'm going to say just choose Hope Cottage. They're fabulous. The staff works with you throughout the initial phases, helping you understand which type of child you're really comfortable with adopting, because that's really important as well, is for it to be a good fit for you as the adoptive parent and for the child as well. So they're great throughout the planning process, the placement process. Goes very smoothly. I have friends who've done it without the help of an agency, and it was a little bit more challenging at first, really working through the legal process. So I just think it's so important to work with an agency. They, for those who may have a closed adoption, they will then maintain the records of the birth family so that your child is not having to do a nationwide search down the line if they choose to want to reconnect. So I just think they're a fabulous agency. Yes! And absolutely do it so you can have your own precious bundle of joy that'll keep you young, drain your pocketbook, but it's the most precious gift. Well, I know it. What else? Okay. Is there anything you want to say? Anything else? What do you want to say, Pooh? Hey, what do you want to say to the nice people? Yes? Okay. I think that's it for us. Thank you very much.